What is up, guys? Drew from Misfit Athletics here with Misfit OG, Cody Mooney. Let's rewind back to 2013. Cody Mooney was still in high school. Yes, that's true. Fast forward to September of 2013. Cody became the first athlete added to Team Misfit. Now 2017, Cody, you are the 18th fittest man on earth. How does that feel?
It feels great. It was a weird journey to get there, ups and downs for sure, but it was worth it. And I think that it's still long, but still the beginning of the journey, even though it's felt for a couple of years now I've been doing it.
You're 23 years old. You've learned a lot of lessons for a young guy.
Yeah.
First year regionals, we dealt with the legless rope climb issue with the judge. Learned from that, bounced back. Second year regionals, obviously the squat clean is what knocked you out.
Yep.
Next season,
Don't even qualify.
don't qualify, go team after that. And then, you know, so many people that go through that, it's one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know, they start to go through adversity and they don't learn from it and they get pounded down and down and down and they don't have it in them anymore. So your labrum overhead squatting during regionals prep, that was kind of the final straw.
It was the final straw. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I did it 2 years ago. I did it the summer, literally a week after that 2015 year of my regionals with a squat clean. The next week in a men's softball game, landed on my shoulder wrong, heard a big pop, was messed up for a while, should have got it checked out, never did. Overhead squatting after the Open this year in between the regionals before we knew the workouts, and did something to my shoulder. I don't know if it slipped out of joint because that's what your labrum does, it holds it in. And then it was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and I just, from then on, I was like, I gotta get it checked out, and that's when I kind of found out what was wrong with my shoulder and stuff like that.
We were praying for no muscle ups, snatch, or overhead squat. We got 2 of them out of the way, but obviously you had to deal with very high rep muscle up.
Yep.
Something that was pretty painful,
Yep.
and not just painful, but you weren't able to train it.
Yeah, that
going
was the
into that
biggest thing.
situation.
I mean, I love muscle ups, I always have, but it just, the kipping motion, the really overhead, the stretch through, bothered it. So it's just something I wasn't able to build up the capacity for, training for. So I did them a few times here and there when I could. Maybe like when I knew a rest day was next, so I could take care of my shoulder after. But
Right.
I mean, I tried to do as best as I could just to get ready for him if I did see him.
So you go to Madison, Wisconsin for the 2017 CrossFit Games, and you started off with, very specifically, with a 1.5 mile run. Obviously, it's run, swim, run.
Yeah.
Now, I know you. How were you able to pace that and do the workout correctly? Because you came in 6th place, which is a fantastic finish, thinking about all those other games, athletes that have more experience
Yeah.
with the games themselves and the swimming events and all that.
Yeah, it was like the craziest thing. Like, he took us out there in front of everyone. It's raining out. We're all ready to go. We're at the starting line. He says, like, 15 minutes. So then we had to wait 15 minutes, and when it was like 3, 2, 1, go, I mean, people just took off. I couldn't believe it. But luckily, like 2 minutes before that, I was talking to Ben, and Ben looked at me. He's like, Cody, do not run with them. He goes, they do it every year. He goes, just don't. He goes, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
He goes, this is just the beginning of a long, thing. So I was like, all right, man, like, I'm going to run with Ben, because I know Ben is an excellent runner. Like, he does well in the runs every year. I think he finished like 3rd or 2nd in the workout. So
Yep.
I stayed with him through the first half. But I was like nervous because I was probably 20th between guys and girls going into the water. I felt like I was like middle of the pack, and that's not where I wanted to be.
Right.
I mean, swimming's always been like okay for me, but it was like the whole like competitive swimming type was new to me this summer. I had some guys help me working on it.
Yeah.
I worked a lot with Seth doing some training for his triathlon, so it wasn't like where I personally thought I was like, okay, I'll make up time in the water.
Right.
I didn't think that. I'm like, I need to make up time in the swim. But I mean, that's not how it planned out at all. So, but I was happy I did it. It's just experience. It's just knowing what you can do. I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've just taken off in something and going, oh shit,
Right.
I did that wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just, you live and you learn. And I lived that life my first 2 years of CrossFit a lot. So I learned a lot.
Helps you
too.
get in shape in training.
Yeah.
But if you never learn from your mistakes and you go into competing,
Exactly.
it's completely different.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the end when you get to the run.
It was the craziest thing. So we go into the water, like I said, middle of the pack. I'm swimming. I took the outside lane, hit the first buoy, took the inside lane, hit the last buoy, took the inside lane, and I didn't feel like I was passing a ton of people in the water. Come out of the water, I see Ben right ahead of me, which was good. Put on my shoes, and all of a sudden I start running, so I have no idea where I am. I didn't look around at all. I just started running. Like 100 meters in, Sam Briggs ran by me like I was seriously standing still. Like, I couldn't believe it. She ran by me so fast. I was like, whatever. Like, maybe I'm doing well. We go down into the tunnel. I took my next left, and I'm staring at Noah Olson, Matt Frazier, and Gudmundsson. So I was like, well, shit. Yeah. I'm looking at these 3 guys. I must be doing all right. So I just kept running. And then I kind of just hung out behind them a little bit. I wasn't going to pass them early. I didn't want to be the guy leading it, but I was like, I'm going to pace it off these guys. So I ran with them. I passed Noah with probably about 400 meters left. And then it's kind of funny because when I passed Noah, I thought I saw the finish line, but it wasn't. It was like a flag that you ran around and then you could see the finish line. So when I ran around the flag, I was staring at Matt and I was like, I'm already in a sprint. I only got 100 meters left. I might as well keep sprinting. So Matt and I like sprinted out to the end, and I think I got him by like 0.1 of a second or something. But it was just awesome. It was a great way to start it off, and then to realize that I took like 5th or 6th in the event. Yeah. It was just, that was like my favorite event because I was nervous for it. Like that was my big like.
Right.
I don't know how I'm gonna do. This is very new to me. Obviously running's not, but like the whole swimming run thing was new. So, and it's nothing we do every day in the gym like we usually do. So yeah, that was like the coolest event for me.
Event number 2 came in 8th place in the cyclocross. Going into it, you were confident. You were one of those kids that spent their childhood on a bike. Mm-hmm. But obviously, laps start to add up.
Oh, for sure.
And you could tell that even the people that were, the people that were doing really, really well, like first place out ahead by a lot in their heat, they were hurting. Like, yeah. It looked more painful than I think people thought it was going to be, maybe.
That's what everyone in the crowd said. They looked like, oh, they didn't look bad. Or like everyone I got home, like, they didn't look bad to watch. And I was like, well, I could tell that leg pump was real. It was just crazy. I mean, it happened so fast. Like, the leg pump was real on the trial lap we did the day before, but, like, it hit us all hard because that event, the first event, was 30-something minutes, and it was like as hard as we could go possible. So to get back to do another 20-something, and something that we don't do often, it was just different. And it's like the up, down, you're trying to learn how to switch gears, you're off your bike, you're back on your bike. It was just a leg pump for 25 minutes, but I knew that, again, I mean, I rode behind Alex Anderson the whole time. Like, I just paced behind, I was going as hard as I could, and then at the end, I think I ended up passing him again. It was just like trying to stay within what I could do and then make the move when you can. I was happy with the event. I mean, a lot of those guys, like Ricky and all them, I mean, like he says he does it all the time, you know. And a lot of the guys at the top, they rode motocross, and they said like on their rest days of motocross, they would like actually ride BMX bikes to train the same kind of skills. So a lot of the guys have done it. A few guys asked me if I ever did before. I was like, man, I used to ride my BMX bike all the time, but I used to ride stair bikes and stuff, but I never did any of that stuff growing up. So it was cool, and that was just a cool event for me because I like to get outside. So that was a nice one.
So begin your first CrossFit Games with a 6th place and an 8th place finish, and then you move on to Amanda.
Which
snatches,
so Amanda
muscle ups. We obviously just talked about what you were trying to not necessarily avoid, but if you could choose, you probably wouldn't pick those. Where it's kind of funny in the past, those are two of your go-to movements.
Yeah.
So you go into Amanda, you finish in 28th place.
Yep. So Amanda was announced that day. I didn't know I had to do it. I mean, to say I was bummed, it was like, what, 2.5 Amandas, I think it was, total?
Yeah, 2.
I wasn't bummed when I heard the workout. I was just a little bit like, all right, I mean, this is why I let my shoulder not be so aggravated when I came in, because if I had to do it here, I could. And I knew I was capable of doing it, but I knew I had to be smart. I knew that I had to be smart from the beginning, and that's just what I did. And, when I don't train something for that long, it stinks that, like, I definitely could feel like my muscle capacity for my muscle ups was just, it wasn't there. It wasn't as good as it usually is. And when you're out there with the 40 fittest men in the world,
exactly,
you pay for it. So I paid for it, and I mean, I wasn't happy. with it, but it is what it is, and I just tried to have a short memory, and I was on to day 2.
Yeah, and I think that was really important, you know, whether the next event you came in first or the next event you came in last. I've known you long enough to know just kind of your body language, how you feel going into certain things. Came out, you said, let's move on, that kind of thing. You go into the OCourse. Obviously, you're excited being athletic. Again, just sort of your childhood, how you grew up.
Yeah.
The OCourse is something that you like. Didn't necessarily go exactly how you wanted it to. You, watching it on the TV, looked like you were shot out of a cannon your first round.
Yeah.
You were so far ahead of everyone. It was nuts.
Yeah. This was the most frustrating event for me by far. The first round was good. I ran through it. I even missed the with the 4 ropes in a row. I touched the ground, had to go back, but I was still fine. I still think I took my heat. And then so they cut the field in half, and then on my second run through, I had no chalk or anything. My hands were just wet because it was raining out, and I just started slipping on stuff, and I messed up on 2 things, and I was pissed because I ran 9 seconds slower than I did my first one, and I was just like, Cody, you idiot, you know. What
was funny is the athletes who you could tell had, you know, really good grip strength, were comfortable on the rope. They didn't go as high across those ones to start. They assumed they could just cruise across, where if they were taller, they would do better. And other athletes that went really high, that took their time going across, because
benefited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was one of those things where it was like, if you knew that going in, you probably would have had a top 5 finish in that event.
Yeah, I was mad about it because I think there was no reason why I shouldn't have. So I was like pretty bummed about that one. But again, you live and you learn. It was just kind of stupid. But I mean, the event itself was so cool. I mean, be able to be out there in front of everyone, that obstacle course was awesome. And it's just, again, it's something that we don't get to do every day. So I like lining up everyone and, you know, seeing, you know, who can just adapt and who can do it. So it was cool, but it didn't go as I planned for sure.
15th place out of 40. You know, it's not terrible. It's just one of those things where if you know you could have done better as a competitor, as an athlete, it kind of sticks in the back of your mind.
Exactly. Like when you see it, I automatically thought, I'm like, there's no reason why I should not be top 10. No reason why. Like, even maybe like top 5. I'm like, you know, especially when you see the last heat go with like when it was like Vellner and all. I think Vellner won it and all that. I'm like,
wanted to be out there.
Yeah, it bites. Yeah.
Event number 5 went better than we would have thought. Yes. One right max snatch, tied for 17th. For people that are watching this, you can go to, I think you might have reposted this, but you can go to FitAid's Instagram and look at the still shot of Cody in the bottom of his snatch, and you will know which shoulder has the torn labrum in it. This is one of those things where I remember running down to talk to you about the weight that you were going to do for your last one.
Which is funny because
you were
right in front of me.
It was so much lower than where I wanted you to go. I didn't say anything, and then you chose to make a big jump on your own after watching other people.
Yeah, it's funny you were right in front of me. I never saw you guys once. But so I put 267 on my first bar. I missed it. So you had 20 seconds. I missed it, and then I pulled it again and I hit it, which rarely happens for me because the pull is where I struggle. And then my next lift, I put 270 on the bar, and then all of a sudden I was like, right before the next guy next to me was lifting, so it was my turn.
You changed your weights pretty late.
And I was looking at my bar, and I'm like, these change plates, this is not going to matter if I make or like break this lift. Why aren't they on the bar? So I just threw them on really fast, really had no idea what I put on at that point. And same thing, I pulled it, I missed it, stepped back, took a deep breath, everyone started going crazy. And at that point, like, yeah, it hurt your shoulder, but when you're out there for that many people, I mean, there's no... ibuprofen, there's nothing that's that good. You know, it's just crazy. And the crowd was behind me, and I pulled it, I got underneath it, and I stood it up, and it was
I was just about to say, that's not the end of the story. Like, you missing the first lift was stressful, but it's like, okay, but then you hit, you land, you hit in the bottom, you sort of stand up,
I like sort of stood up
down.
I went back down, and then I stood up again, and with the whole, not trying to go back to the labrum thing, but the problem with the overhead position, where you can see it's different, is like usually when I've always had I've been blessed with great shoulder mobility, and I can really get back and like in a stacked position. my labrum, when it's torn, it doesn't allow me to do that, so it feels more forward.
Right.
So I used to hit a snatch, sit in the bottom, and be like, all right, I'm good. I couldn't do it as much now, so that was like the problem about it. But yeah, so I kind of went down, and then everyone started yelling again, so I stood up, and it was probably like a 6-second squat. It was something ridiculous, but I mean, it was such a good feeling, and it was, I mean,
I was easily at 200 beats per minute. Easily.
I mean, I didn't snatch before that for like 2 months, so I didn't know what to expect. And out back in the warm-up area, I'm snatching 225, and I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like, this is not good, you know? So it was awesome. It was so cool, and it was like that CrossFit community type like moment that like you dream about. You know what I mean? It was awesome.
That's great. Event number 6, the Triple G Chipper. Let's try to get this right. Pull up, GHD, row, dumbbell. Is that correct?
No, pistol between the GHD and the row.
Yeah, plenty of pistols between those two.
Yep.
You came in 20th place in that one, dealing with some of the a little bit of the shoulder stuff, but one thing that I was kind of blown away by was the pistols. They looked easy.
Pistols felt great. I mean, the only thing that, I mean, the shoulder wasn't even a problem with this one. It was just when I tested it back home, they didn't really say like about much about the dumbbell. They just said 20 of them. So I was like, again, no need to aggravate my shoulder. I do all 20 on my right arm.
Right.
And then when they got there, like switch every 5. So it was like 5, and I was like, I'm like, oh gosh, you know, it was just different. I didn't have like the strength and the stability there. Pull ups right off the bat, we had 100 of them. I think I broke it up pretty early. Did like some 10, maybe a 20, then 10, something like that. I just knew it being so early on in the competition. I remember, I don't know, 2 years ago or something, where they just had guys.
Right.
I mean, people were stuck like this day one of the CrossFit Games. They did Murph and stuff, so I just didn't want that. But it went pretty smooth, and I got all my GHGs, did them unbroken. Pistols went pretty fast. Made some decent time up on the rower. You know, I always see a rower, and I'm like, okay, I can make up some time there. And the shoulder overhead was a little bit more shaky than I wanted it to be. But, I mean, overall, it was an all right event. I think I could have went a little bit faster in it, in places and stuff. A little mad about, but it wasn't the worst event, but it wasn't like I don't think it went as well as it should have. It's tough. It's tough to reflect on these events because unless I take first in every one of them, I'm not gonna say that like I'm happy with anything that happened. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy I hit the snatch, but I still tied for 17th. That sucks, you know. So it's tough. It's just my competitive nature. It's just what I obviously want to sit dead center on that podium one day. So that's just how I'm gonna be. But no, I mean, there was good things about the event. It was cool. It was nice. Somehow Ben and I ended up the first 2 days, which was a true blessing. We kept ending up next to each other, and he's such a good guy to work out next to. So I was always trying to push myself. He's super calm, smooth. He's such a veteran. He knows what he's doing. So it was super nice to be next to him. And I remember he was in the lane right next to me, and right when we were done, he was like, "Man, you got a lot of no-reps and pull-ups." And I was like, "Yeah, I did." I mean, my judge repped me like 12 times. My first one was a no rep, and I'm like, "Oh gosh, here we go." But it was cool. It was fun.
So guys, this is all about Cody, but I'm going to use this next event as my soapbox to talk a little bit about the Assault Banger, event number 7. Cody took 18th place in the Assault Banger. If the event was bike, hammer something, you'd be top 10.
Yeah, I mean,
that was supposed to be what the event was, and I'm not asking you to make any excuses.
No, I'm not. I saw this event and I was like,
I'm going to say
this is awesome. Like, I was so excited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then not as bad as before, but a repeat of the first time that I was at the CrossFit Games. Mm-hmm. People were hooking the end of their hammer and pulling the thing across.
Yeah, because I never saw that, but Dave came out and briefed us before we went out, and he said, "I don't want to see any of that shit." Like,
well, they told people to stop it, then they walked away. Okay. So if no one's and the other judge was just there to say, "Hey, you've reached the end," but the head judges were the ones going through and saying, "Stop doing that." They'd wait. Some people you could tell were looking for the judge, so that was frustrating to watch because you were like hammering the shit out of it, and you got off the bike fast and all that stuff. So again, I know you're not going to make excuses, but every once in a while you get an opportunity to speak in front of a few people.
I mean, I was definitely mad how the event went because I was like, what the hell? It's assault bike, and like I mean, I split wood for the first 12 years of my life,
Yeah.
like, you know, all the time. So I was mad. I mean, I don't know if the event could have been better if we were to the side and everyone had to hit it, so we weren't allowed to, you know, kind of
Right.
drag it. So, but again, it is what it is, and there's nothing I could do about it. So I didn't want it to, you know, destroy my next couple of days. But I definitely was frustrated with that event.
Right.
But that event messed me up for like a week after.
The whole hands situation.
Oh, dude, I felt like I had arthritis or something. Like shaking people's hands after, I was like, I had like nothing. Like my hands, like they didn't want to open. It would just like wrung your hands. Like when you hit a handle right on the handle in baseball.
Exactly.
But it was like doing it over and over
Exactly.
and over.
Yeah, because
It was crazy.
that happens to you like early in a baseball tournament. And your
Yeah.
hand hurts so bad you don't even want to swing.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
it was
even want
just
to
like
hit, but you have it with
over
both hands.
over and over. Yeah, it was
imagine what that would
crazy.
feel like.
Yeah, it was something else.
So, event number 8, you had started to drop a little bit in the standings.
Yeah.
Event number 8, we head outside for the Strongman event. You take 7th place in that event. Kind of went almost exactly how you thought it was going to go. I mean, it looked pretty smooth out there.
Yeah. I mean, when this event was announced, I was like, this is awesome. It's a cool event, but I don't know how it's going to go really yet because, one, we never used the farm. I was good at farmer's carry, but I never used those. The yoke freaked me out a little bit because, you know, they said like 550 pounds, something like that, and I was just like, damn, you know, that's some weight. And, you know, it was just like, I don't know how it's going to go, but it is what it is. And I took, what did you say, 7th?
7th.
Which I was happy with, but I was in the second to last heat. I really wish I was in that first heat with some of the Vellner, I think, and Frazier. Because
you have those
pushed
moments
it
where
out.
if you're in the lead or you're the next person to
Yeah.
go, there's no urgency. You're technically not racing
Exactly,
anybody.
and it happened, I think, early for me. And I think if you look at that workout, in my second half of the workout was faster than my first because in my first I didn't know.
Right.
You know, I didn't really know like how I'd move the yoke. I didn't know. I do remember I went farmer's carry, yoke, sled, and I thought once I got done the yoke, so I picked up the yoke and I was just like, whoa. So I just took off. I got it to the end, and I came back from my sled, and I'm like, if this sled does not move, I am in for a world of a workout. But the sled went easy, so that was kind of nice to have that. And the handstand walk it's just something that I've always learned to love. So I mean, for some people, they really have to like think about it, and you
Right.
know, but for me, it was just kind of just like kick up, start going. So it was cool. It was a fun event. I loved it. I love being out on the turf. It was nice weather out. It was a really cool all-around event.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Event number 9, obviously, so we're going into events number 9 and 10. They showcase some of the more challenging movements for you. You've got number 9, you've got the muscle up clean.
Yep.
And number 10, you've got heavy 17.5, which we're going front squat in both of those. 37th and 35th. How do you feel about how they went, and then what maybe you learned from doing them there?
Obviously not happy with how they went, I guess. The cleans have always been a frustrating movement for me. I mean, to say that I hit a 305 double out there, I mean, if I did that here, I'd be happy with it.
Right.
But it's tough when you see everyone out there finishing the workout,
Right.
cleaning the weight. It's something that I'm going to put a lot of work into this offseason. I already have been. So that workout, I knew it was kind of controlled damage going into it. So I tried to get there as fast as I could with my time breaker just to see what it would land me, but I knew it would land me towards the bottom. But I was more mad about the 17.5, I think, because that one was me. That workout, I felt I kind of checked out some. I didn't check out. I didn't trust my ability, and I didn't trust what I could do when I was out there. I saw a heavy thruster, and I automatically went, shit, I'm not that great at it. You know, he announced that workout in front of everyone. We were really hoping, I think everyone out back was kind of hoping for like a handstand push-up deadlift. We thought we were going to get some like cooler movements, maybe some gymnastics, and he comes back at us with this just work. Here you go, work. And it was kind of just for me like, you know, crap. You know, I felt maybe sorry for myself. You know, I'm just like, oh, I'm not that great of a squatter compared to everyone else, a heavy thruster. And I don't know. And it bit me in the ass, and I took 35th place. And I don't think I learned a lot from it. I never want it to happen again. I mean,
that was the only time that I saw you. You know, you talked in the run, swim, run, and the cyclocross. You were ready to play the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a training piece. You were ready to sprint.
And I wasn't. I'll admit, I wasn't for that.
Right.
event.
So the very end, you know in your heart what you could have done in that last round.
Yeah.
When you were racing those couple other people and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
So now it's just about knowing that that's there.
Yeah.
Like
And
you have to play the game.
Did that workout last week.
13. Yeah.
Because I was mad. I mean, I've done that workout. I mean, so many people have told me, like, oh my gosh, I never want to do that. It looks like such a bad workout. And last week, I'm like, I'm going to do this workout, and I'm not going to drop this bar, and I'm going to, you know, like, it's just, it's so much of it's mental, and you have to have that mindset. And
right.
A lot of it has changed for me, and these two back-to-back workouts was a real, like, test for me in that weekend to not get down and not, because I was riding such a high in the beginning, and you know, then this happened, and I was frustrated. I was frustrated with how I was doing and what I was doing, and it just made me mad. But again, I tried to brush it off, and I said I'm just gonna keep going. So
when you row a 5K, what pace do you hold?
Suicide pace.
Like roughly.
I don't know. I row a 5K in probably 17:10. 17:15.
You're holding 145, less than 145, somewhere in that area?
Somewhere in that area. Well, I rode a 10K, and my last 2K of a 10K was a 6:42.
Right. So what I'm getting at here is just that concept of that mental toughness is something that lives within you.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe in yourself, you can't go there.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. For sure.
All right, so Event 11 gets announced. They kind of finally say how far you're running, where you're going, how it all works to the Madison Triplet.
Yep.
We're watching. You look good. And then the camera's not on you when what you're about to tell us happens. And we're just super confused. Cody Mooney doesn't run slow when there's, 400s, 5, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was very odd to see. And obviously 22nd, a lot of people were mad that I said you ran slow because you kicked their ass. But it was weird to watch. So why don't you?
Yeah. So so we started out. We started the run, and then so it's 5 rounds. So we started the run, and I was 4 sandbag cleans, burpee over, and my 5th one we put us really close. And so it was Cody Anderson to my right, and I had Garrett Fisher to my left. So Garrett and I are bigger, so the judge was like, kind of move over to your right, because they thought we were going to hit. So the next rep, when I moved over to my right, Cody Anderson and I both jumped over the hay bale at the same time, and his back of his head hit me square in the nose, and it just closed my eyes for a second. But as I closed my eyes, I was still going over the bale, and I landed on my D-ball, and I...
Cheese curd.
Yeah, cheese curd, sorry. And I rolled my ankle. I haven't rolled my ankle like that since I rolled my ankle really bad in 8th grade, the same ankle. They put me in a cast for 4 weeks, and that was probably about the same.
And Rusty explained there's about 4 ways to roll your ankle, and 3 of them went down there.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. My foot was shaking after, but I rolled my ankle. I heard a pop my ankle. I go down, and the guy was like, medic, 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 and I was like, first thought was, I don't know if there is a minimum work requirement, and you're not dragging me off this field. So I stood up, adrenaline started, I started going again, but then just like, it wasn't stable to run on. It wasn't stable to take corners. It wasn't the uneven surfaces. Like, I could just feel it, and it was almost like I could feel it swelling up. It was kind of grinding and popping. So I just tried to get through the event. I felt like I barely was moving. I felt like I wasn't running hard. It was really annoying for me to finish that event, because I saw this event and I was like, this is a good event for me. Like, there's running. It's a longer event. This is a really good event. So when I finished it, I was just frustrated. And but once I came down a little bit, cooled down, I knew I was in for it. My ankle was pretty bad, so I got up back, taped it up, and it was the last day. So, but there was no way I wasn't finishing.
Right. We got 2 events left. We're trying to figure out what do you got to do to make sure that this happens?
Yeah.
We're avoiding, sorry guys, we're avoiding your mom and Taylor because they're texting me saying you can't keep competing.
Yeah.
We're going through that whole thing.
We didn't really know the movements. I don't think we knew
We did not know the movements. Luckily, we knew that plantar flexion was no good. But you don't really dangle your foot all that often in CrossFit.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew that if it did go squatting, that you were kind of okay.
I was okay with it.
We just, no box jump, please. None of that stuff.
I just took a wider. So we did go squatting. We had overhead squat. I mean, I'm not happy with that workout.
Yeah, So we'll talk about.
So we'll go to that workout.
Yeah. So it's event 12. Cody ties for 20th in the 2-2-2-3 intervals. Fantastic mentality going into this workout, saying, "I love rope climbs." Those were even faster than I don't know what the hell you were doing. It didn't look like you and the other people were doing the same moves. Crazy to watch. So you do that, you get off. At the beginning of the workout anyways, you go right over, hammer on the ski, faster than everybody. I'm watching you overhead squat. We talked about, these differences in like confidence and mental toughness. Your overhead squats look great. You're being super tough on them.
Yep.
Workout starts moving on, and you have a belt that has like 37 straps on it. Yeah, you gave it to me once during the open, and I couldn't figure out how to use it. I was like, "Get this thing away from me!"
Yes,
so you're crushing an event. You're slaying an event that with your injury and with squatting, with all these things, you're crushing it. But I don't know if we're making it all the way through this thing without swears. This fucking belt. I'm spitting all over the place. You can see in the lights.
Yeah. It was another of the moments of like me thinking I needed it, but I didn't. It was a crutch.
Right.
It was a
doing this one with the regular Velcro belts probably wouldn't have cost you that.
No. It was frustrating. It was frustrating. It was one of those moments like I got done and I instantly thought, I'm like, why did I do that? And it was so funny because someone said that. I think James Hobart was commentating it.
Oh, they were like, they were like,
I'm glad because I freaking deserved it. I'm like, what am I doing? It was like sprinting ahead in a race, feeling fine, but just stopping and letting everyone catch you up. It was frustrating. It was. I don't know why I did it. I don't know. It still literally makes me mad thinking about it.
It's a weird back and forth too, though, because you think about how well you did, but it's never going to leave the back of your mind until you get another opportunity.
Yeah.
I came in 20th because I was messing with my belt, that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
All right, we'll move on from the belt. We're going to talk about the final, the Fibonacci final. You took 21st in this event. I know that you have made some comments about being mad that you were a little conservative with the handstand push-ups. Is that true?
Yeah, I was. I was conservative from the beginning. I watched a few people. It was so weird because you watch the girls do it and it was a completely different workout because everyone was like finishing the workout and then the guys start and everyone was all of a sudden they couldn't get through their last round of handstand push-ups, so I played a little conservative and then mine felt well, like they didn't really go, and then all of a sudden I'm doing my last deadlifts and I realize I look up and it's like 15 seconds and I'm like, crap, and it was tough because like that was the last workout. I didn't have another chance to do that. I knew that it wasn't going to bump me up the leaderboard. I knew that it wasn't where I wanted to finish, and it was a hard feeling. I mean, I wasn't happy to be done. I wanted another 2 days, but there's nothing I could do.
So we get done, finishing 18th overall. Everyone here, your family, everyone's proud of you. 18th is awesome. But you've had a taste of a different placing.
Yeah.
Where you were there with those athletes, you competed alongside of them, you got to be in that heat that you wanted to be in.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling your goal next year is not 19th.
No, not at all. I mean, I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again. My end goal in this sport is to sit dead center on the podium, holding my American flag. Some people go into it just thinking my goal is to make the games, and I mean, I've never had that mentality when I was a kid. I was like, starting varsity quarterback from my freshman, sophomore year on. I've always set goals higher for myself, and that's just what I'm gonna do. And I work hard every day to try to get there. It's a good reminder. All these events it's a good reminder of me. You know, I think about the stupid hay bale event, rolling my ankle. I think about the belt. I think about the obstacle course. I think about breaking up 17.5 from the beginning all the time, and it frustrates me. And that is what's going to drive me to never do it again. Like I'll learn from my mistakes, and I will come back a better athlete. And even though if I have to get my shoulder fixed, it's a bump in the road, but I mean everyone has them, and it's how you come back from a bump in the road. I've had plenty in the past, you know. What's a career without them? It makes you who you are, and it was a great first year. I met a lot of people. I learned a lot of things, but it was a great first year for a lot that went down. But I mean, I look back at it, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you did awesome," and I look back at it like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I never want to be not satisfied with what I did, or not happy with them, like what I was able to do, because I mean, getting there is just crazy
right.
in itself. But I mean, I want a lot more, and it still kind of stings to think about it. So, but
I think that's a great place to end. Let's go get 2018.
sir.
See you next time, guys.